Hi there, my name's Adam Fielding, and welcome to one of my music making sessions. So tonight I've introduced something kind of new for the people watching via Twitch, which is the means to request that I add particular devices to the rack if you redeem some of your channel points, which could be quite interesting. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can't really interact with that part of the stream, but if you're watching on YouTube, you can still see how this all goes horribly wrong when it inevitably does. So this will be quite interesting. What's actually going on in the rack at the moment? So this is kind of my standard setup. It's been a while since I've actually explained what I do with my setup when I start a tune, so I figured now would be a good time to go over that again. So there's nothing in the rack, there is just this singular maximizer here. So it's hooked up directly to the output bus in Reason. So that is literally the last thing everything's going through. So it's just applying a 3 dB gain on the output. Nothing else going on there. Everything else you see me throwing into the rack is all, just added on top of that. So I've set the tempo to 110 BPM. My plan for today is to do something sort of mellow-ish, but not really. I thought, last time I think I did a track that was sub 100 BPM, so I thought I'll just bump it up a little bit. But I'd like to do something. I'm feeling kind of nostalgic. For some reason, I've been watching a bunch of videos related to sort of 90s gaming for some bizarre reason, and that's kind of got me in a bit of a mood for something sort of with that kind of tinge to it. So yeah, but I've realized it's also been a while since I used some of the players to get some ideas going during these streams, so I'm probably going to be doing that today as well. So without further ado, I thought I didn't really use a whole lot of Tom Pritchard's excellent patches during my last stream, so I thought it'd be nice to dip into that to get things going today. So I'm going to go into, I feel like it'd be nice to start with something with a bit of movement to it. I was vaguely toying with the idea of just starting with a sequenced patch from one of his refills, but I think I'm actually going to go for an ARPS patch, and we can just see how that goes. I'm just going to move this piece of plastic off my keyboard. Right, so, clink. Cool. So let's pick a patch. I'm just going to pick one that I like the sound of. I did like this patch I had a look at a couple of weeks ago. I'm just going to turn that down a little bit. I did like that a couple of weeks ago, but I feel like it'd be nice to have something with a bit more movement to it. So actually, I'm going to just create a scales and chords player and just pick a key and a scale that sounds fun. So I'm going to go with E Dorian, why not? Let's have an extra note and an octave down. So that's an excellent way to get some ideas going, but I think I might just have a look through these patches, see if anything kind of jumps out at me. Moving music box, that sounds fun. That's pretty cool. I think that might work if I had an idea going already. I feel like if I just had something kind of more, sort of subdued. Still sounds like it might be a good one. Oh, that's lovely. Right, okay, so that is almost certainly what I'm going to be using. I might dial back the tape echo a bit. I'm actually curious as to what's being used for the tape echo in here. So, interesting. So, in this particular patch, this is a patch from Tom Pritchard's ARPS refill, which you can now you can download for free, since he kindly decided to give away all of his Tom Pritchard sound design refills. That won't be the last time I say that. So interestingly, I believe these patches were made before rack extensions and the echo was a thing. So he's used the Kong as a tape delay here. So it's a whole instance of Kong for that one little effect. I really wish you could break those out of Kong and just have it as like a separate thing. Buskin Bills has said, what ARP is the patch using? It is using a RPG8, which, again, this predates players and rack extensions. So it's just using what was available in the older versions of Reason. If you wanted an arpeggiator in Reason 5 and earlier, you had to use the RPG8. So that's what's being used here. Oh, Clobbermutt has said, whoa, using Kong as a... Oh no, Alas, the stream elements thing says I have 0 channel points, so sadly I cannot redeem. Damn it! I'm gonna have to look into this for next time. Apologies, folks. So the whole devices thing is probably not going to work. Never mind. I'll just have to carry on as though I'll just have to look into it. I apologize, folks. Yeah, Dravid, what would those be? An 8th rack effect. It'd be really neat. Yeah. Clommer, I remember when everyone was annoyed there was no tempo sync for the tape delay in Kong, then they added the echo. Yeah, problem solved, I guess. I still would love there to be more automation options for the devices in Kong and stuff like that. I think it's just a neat little sort of effects box, really. Reminds me of using effects pedals more than some of the other devices in Reason, so there we go. So that's kind of nice. So I think I'm just going to leave that patch as it is and kind of use that to get things going. I feel like I'm just kind of noodling for the sake of noodling at this point. So let's not have a DR1 to start with. Let's have some echo, and I'm going to actually use that instead of the built-in delay. I'm going to leave the tape echo turned on, but use the echo for some extra echo. Some extra delay, rather. And I'm just going to start drawing in some notes because that feels like a good place to start. So I seem to be gravitating towards G2, so let's draw that in. Let's have a couple of bars of that. Let's have a couple of bars of F sharp too. Make it back. Let's just start with that. I feel like that could be kind of nice. Put us down for Subtractors on credit for next week. I'm really sorry about this, guys. Yeah, I failed on that one, I'm afraid. Also, I can't count, so let's have that going there. So a bit of wobble on the echo as well. I might turn that up a little bit and roll the lows off just a tad on the SSL mixer there. So that's a lovely patch. I'm just curious as to what he's used for the synth here. So it's used a Thor for the main synth, and I believe, yeah, there's a Maelstrom for some extra processing at some point. I do. I always love delving into these patches because I'm never entirely sure what I'm gonna find. So yeah, he's used the Maelstrom as an aux send in this particular combinator, and it's being used as a comb filter, which is really interesting. Yeah, I love it. Cool. So I'm just gonna fold that up for now. Fusion 9003, disappointing stream. He skipped using DR1 right off the bat. I'm done watching you from now on. Yeah, I've let you guys down. First of all, you can't specify which devices I'm using, and I'm not using a DR1. I mean, what the hell? It's like I'm not even the same person anymore. Well, I'm going to add a sort of something that I've done a few times before. At least let's get this back on track. And I'm almost certainly going to be adding a DR1 to this. So in previous streams, I've used a radical piano as a pad, and that's something I'm going to be doing here because I feel like that might kind of give it a nice sort of roundness to it. So I'm just going to turn the attack right up, turn the release right up a bit there as well, turn the pitch drift up, and you might notice I've also selected a different microphone configuration for the pianos. So I'm going to turn the character down more towards subdued and use pretty much the same scales and chords player setup on here as well. So it's going to be E, Dorian, and I'm just going to leave that as it is. So it's interesting people keep saying my hair has changed. It hasn't. It's just it's just longer. That's really interesting. Different glasses, that might be it. So always turn that knob towards subdued. Yes. This is why I was using the word encoder during my Reason Studio stream last week to try and avoid these kind of puns, but it didn't work because encoder is a pretentious word that nobody uses. So, right, okay, so it was the glasses. There we go. Excellent. So let's swap that in reverb. In fact, I haven't actually. yeah, so let's give that the old DR1 treatment. There we go. We're back on track now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those exact same notes and just copy them over. There we go. Everything's right with the world. There's a DR1. In fact, I might copy and paste that over and just extend this. Let's have some changes. I think it'd be nice to change the last two chords at the end. So I'm going to use the radical piano to play with this. And let's go with E and C sharp 2 there. That's I feel like that's the less obvious choice. So let's go with that. It's always fun to go with a less obvious choice. Let's have a bit of delay on that as well. So I'm just going to add an instance of the echo. Oh no. Oh yes, more reverb. Yes. Oh, brilliant. Right, okay. I'm getting slightly disturbed by the chat here. It's I shouldn't be encouraging this, but yeah. Anyway, I feel like it's time to add some drums. We've got some nice sort of atmospheric-y stuff. In fact, I'm going to give these a proper name. So ARP, and let's call this piano pad. And yeah, let's get drumming. In fact, I might. I'm just going to call that stream. And right, okay, cool. Let's add an instance of redrum or faithful, and that can have its own separate rack column here. So let's call that drums. And I'm just going to sort of beat myself to the punch here and just use my standard drums insert that I've been using in these streams pretty much since day one, I believe. So for those unfamiliar, I'm going to go over this again. It's just a simple insert setup consisting of an Eve MP5 EQ, which I'm using mainly to give a bit of a 12K boost and to smooth out the highs, which it does an exceptionally good job at. The pulverizer, which just kind of gives it just a little bit of compression. In fact, I might dart in a little bit of dirt for today. And it goes through a limiter, which is set to a -3 dB threshold, which just kind of helps to tame the transients a bit without completely obliterating the mix. So, yes. My mum always said that DR1 and AF is like peas and carrots. I don't like peas and carrots, though. Oh, dear. Tyblee says, if you hold shift and use the scroll wheel, you can scroll horizontally on the rack. I didn't know that. I've just been using my mouse as a little scroll wheel on the side, so I just tend to use that. But yeah, that is a useful little thing. Cool. Right. Okay. So let's go into the old faithful evolve free folder. I feel like at some point I'm gonna have to kind of shift up some of the sort of standard techniques and stuff I'm using during these streams, but it's worked for me so far, so I'm just gonna kind of stick with these. So I want. Actually sounds quite nice. So I wanted something sort of reasonably deep. I might dial back the length on that a bit. And I'm just going to play a sort of typical 4 on the floor beat and just adjust the levels. So just in case you're curious as to what I was doing there, I'm currently, as I do on all my streams, I'm currently working with headphones. So I tend to use my eyes a bit more when I'm kind of mixing stuff, especially on headphones. So what I tend to do is when I throw a kick into the rack, the first thing I tend to do is try and get it to around -10 dB on the mixer. That tends to be kind of a nice place to start. And once that's down, I can kind of balance everything around that. It's a nice place to start, especially if you're working on headphones. Obviously, it's more of a hard and fast rule than something that needs to be adhered to at all times. So, yes. So I've got rid of that sort of 4 on the floor pattern. I'm just gonna find a snare, and then I'm gonna bring in the old faithful beat map and see where we go from there. So let's go to electronic snare. I feel like I want something a bit of a sort of not like that. Yeah, so I was thinking something with a bit of a kind of almost 909-y kind of flavor-ish. That's a little harsh at the moment, so I'm just going to bring that down. And I'm just going to bring in an instance of beatmap, and we can see where that goes. So far I feel like this has got kind of a... I'm just going to click on Spawn XY and see what happens. Not really feeling that. I kind of like that. False Music has said, ever thought of creating a pure atmospheric track without drums during these streams? It's really interesting how you say that, actually, because I've had no fewer than 3 people suggest this to me over the past week. So yeah, excellent timing. So that is something I'm thinking of doing. I would love to do that, and I've got something a bit more special in mind for that kind of, if I do that. Sorry. So yeah, I would love to do an ambient track, but today I'm going to be messing around with beatmap and stuff like that, but that is totally on the cards. I would very much like to do that. It just, revolves around me getting a few things working, which if my current situation using with the stream point stuff is anything to go by, it's going to be a long time before I do it. So, yeah. Yes, I did say doo-doo because apparently I'm a child. So, right. So I'm gonna find a hat and kind of go from there. I'm liking sort of how that sounds. Let's just have like a little close hat. I think that'd be kind of nice if I just turn that down a bit. Strange talk. That's how I envision it. He just floats in a suspended animation tank with huge room verbs. How did you know? Oh, it's nice. Clubmutt says, have you considered that people keep asking you to do an ambient tune on stream because your ambient tunes are awesome? First up, thank you. That's really nice of you to say. And secondly, yeah, I need to do it. It's one of those things where I feel like I'd need to... It's kind of like the Complex One idea. I would love to do a stream focusing on it, but it's something I feel like I'd need to do something a bit different to make it interesting to watch. Because I feel like doing an entirely kind of droney ambient thing during a stream would be a bit bland. So... Basketball, someone noticed that channel points are frozen. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with that. I apologize, guys. I'll have to look into that. So yeah. So we've got some hats. I'm just gonna continue populating this redrum here with the beat map. So actually, let's add an open hat. Actually, I might stick that on number 9 there. Turn that down. I might even draw some notes in for that, and that can come in later in the track, I think. So let's add some kind of extra sort of poppy percussion, I think, and then I'll move on with my life onto something else. Tempting. That's very tempting. But I was thinking more something like that, something kind of poppy. Some really lovely comments in the stream, by the way. Thanks. That really means a lot. Really glad to hear you guys are still enjoying me doing these, even though I've been doing them for quite a while now. Pitch up the hats. Let's give that a go. In fact, that's given me another idea of something I would like to do anyway. So do you mean the open hats or the closed hats? While we have a think about that, I'm going to add an instance of Pulsar and do something that I did during the Reason Studio stream. So I'm going to use a Pulsar to modulate the pitch ever so slightly on some of these elements, namely the snare and the hat, I think. Let's just have one of each. Don't need to go crazy on these. So I'm just going to turn the rate right down on both of these LFOs, so really, really slow. And we should get some sort of slight pitch variance on those. I overdid it. Right. There we go. I like that. Thanks, Buskin Bills. Adam will introduce Behringer channel points soon, but when you redeem them, it won't quite feel the same. Oh. And he's just gonna copy all the different items from other streamers. Oof. Yeah, I think I might have overdone it on the pitch CV there. So I've just turned that right down. So it's not particularly noticeable, but it's just a little extra bit of flavor there. So I'm gonna leave that as it is. I'm gonna mute the open hack because I don't want that playing throughout the entire track. That can kind of come in later. And I feel like now would be a good time to actually bring in some bass. Let's give that a go. Right. So once again, I'm going to dip into Tom Pritchard's sound design land, and this time I'm going to go for the vast refill. Feeling saucy. So I feel like I want something with kind of a sort of nostalgic flavor, and I feel like DOS might be a good place to start. That's cool. That's a very cool sound. I'm not entirely sure it's what I'm after here, though. That is a cool patch, though. I do like that. Let's have a look at Nez in a second. Actually, oh no, let's have a look at Vega. I seem to recall that's kind of... Oh, that's nice. I think that's kind of got the sort of feel I want without sort of being too obvious about it. So I'm gonna try that. Let's bring that back up. So again, I'm doing the whole sort of going for minus 10B trick again here. So all I'm gonna do is just copy the same notes over to the bass channel as a starter, and I am gonna actually do some programming in a second, which will make a nice change. So let's focus on this little section here. I feel like it'd be good to have some kind of rhythm to match the drums. So let's zoom in a bit so we've got some more grid space here. So I'm thinking something like yeah, that'll be nice. Nice. Yeah, let's leave a little bit of room for some flourishes at the end of here. Yeah, I think that'll work quite nicely. Yeah, right. I feel like that's a nice kind of starting point. So that goes to G, then D. So let's just copy that over. Start adding some nice little flourishes here and there. Cool. Yes, there's some links for the Tom Pritchard sound design refills popping up in the chat now. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll pop some links in the description. Unless I forget, in which case remind me in the comments to do that and I'll update it. So yeah, but there's some links popping up now in the chat on Twitch. So do check them out. They are fantastic. Points are back, apparently. This is very, very strange. Don't know what's going on there. So I definitely need to look into that. So let's try. Find it helps if it's in the right key. So let's just do the same thing again. Let's copy those and just bring them down a semitone. Yeah, I like that. That's a nice place to start. Cool. Yeah, so let's grab these again because it's the same notes. Yeah, save up your channel points and then you can redeem them and just take over my house. Just, yeah. Why not? Why not? Let's change this. Yeah, I like that. Right. I'm kind of liking the feel of this. So for some reason, it's kind of reminding me of that bass sound in particular. Kind of reminds me of like credits music from Streets of Rage or something. I have no idea why. But yeah, that's probably just me. So I am going to I'm gonna just grab this from here. So that was down to, so it goes E, C sharp. I feel like with the C sharp, I might bring that up an octave just because otherwise I feel like it might be a bit too low, but we'll see how that goes. So that's... I like the idea of just having that kind of float a little closer there. So let's... Yeah, let's do that. But then it goes down to C sharp, so I need to sort that out. Yeah, so I'm going to bring those up an octave because I feel like... Well, I'm going to bring all of those up an octave because I feel like it's just a little bit too low, so... Guys, I'll sort out the channel points at some point, I swear. It might be a while. Tweak that a bit, so... Yeah, that's better, that's better. Kingscar13 has said, I watched one of your streams from earlier this year on YouTube last week and finally learned what blocks do. And I've been using Reason for a few years. I do love blocks. In fact, I'm almost certainly going to be making a block out of this little element I've got going here. I'd be very, very surprised if I didn't actually. So I think that's kind of a nice little sort of nice. It's just a pleasant little groove there. So I'm thinking I might add some extra percussion at this point. So I'm going to just dip into my custom samples library and cheat a bit. And I think there's like some nice sort of tambourine-y kind of shakery things in here. So let's yeah. I'm just going to go with that. Cool. So I'm just going to copy that a few times and Oh, I might not use that bit at the end because I don't really feel like that's going to fit the rest of the track. But I am going to use an instance of what is very quickly becoming one of my favorite percussive plugins called Beatformer. So I'm just going to turn the squash down on this. So for anyone who hasn't seen this before, I'll just give a quick sort of demonstration of what this actually does. So I'll keep that open and just solo this channel. So as you turn the squash down, it kind of acts as a sort of gate expander kind of dealy. So it's just kind of basically removing more and more of the sound. If you turn it up, it's more of a sort of straight up compressor. But I feel like turning it down is where it gets interesting. I might turn the air down a bit there. So that bit at the end was the good bit. So yeah. Okay, tell you what. Let's keep the end bit, but I'm not gonna have it play every couple of bars. I feel like that's a bit too much. So if I just sort of play that as it is. So it sounds a bit sudden when it kind of cuts off at the end there. So you know what this means? This means it is DR1 o'clock. So this will just kind of help to sort of smear the signal at the end there. Tybler says, I've been keeping an eye on Beatformer. I just can't justify £78 at the moment for it. Yeah, no, I didn't pay £78 for it. I think I got it in a bundle with a couple of other Acusonus effects or instruments, and it was about 60, I think. I could be wrong, it was a while ago, but Beatformer was essentially kind of the extra thing in there that I didn't expect to get a lot of use out of, and it's the thing I've used the most out of the bundle, which is really impressive. It's just an incredibly simple effect, but just does what it does exceptionally well, I think, and I do quite love effects like that. That still sounds kind of odd there. I'm not sold on that. I'm just going to take that out for now because I kind of want the shakers. It's been a while since I heard that, actually. The funky disco falls from the Orchestra Soundbank. Clearly the best thing. I did hear the save command. I do need to turn that up. I just completely forgot to do that. So today has not been a good day for me tweaking things on my Twitch channel, apparently. Just nothing works and the save command is still too quiet. So sorry guys, I'm just ruining your chat experience. I don't know why you hang around here, to be honest. There must be better streamers you can go and do go and watch who know what they're actually doing. Don't do that. I don't know why I was listening to that again. I don't know what I was expecting to have changed since the last time I played that through. So I'm going to add an extra percussive element. I think this time I'm just going to go into the loop supply folder and just bring something out. So let's go into the electronic folder and just pick something. That might work. Oh, there's always time for the nasal riser. I'm really glad that the bitrate fixes worked for you Buskin Bills as well, because I feel like that was something that was slightly irking me, and I'm really glad that sorts out. I'm glad I've managed to fix at least one thing for this stream. So if I can fix one thing per stream in, a couple of months' time, everything will be perfect. It'll be fine. So I'm going to do the exact same thing I did with the shakers and just create an instance of Beatformer. And again, just kind of turn the squash down, maybe turn the air down a bit as well. That's way too loud, so I'm going to roll off the lows as well because there's enough going on with the bass and the existing kick there. But I am going to use an instance of DR1 on here, surprise, surprise, because I feel like it could do with a bit of a nice reverby touch there. So. And just copy and paste that a few times. So. False Mirror Music says vocoder actually fits tonally. Maybe use it in a grain as a pad sound. I was vaguely toying with the idea of maybe bring in a vocoder later, but we'll see how that goes. That's not a bad idea actually. I love it when these kind of ideas accidentally just sort of pop in. That's always fun. So, I feel like I just want to add a couple of extra elements and then I can pop this into a block. And then I can start kind of working from that really. So, I'm going to create an instance of Europa, I think, and just add some nice sort of, add a bit of an atmospheric touch. So I'm just going to add a Europa here, pop that in its own column over here. And just dip into my Europa patch library and pick something that I like the sound of. I know for a fact Windwave has kind of a sort of nostalgic kind of feel to it, so that might... So I'm just going to turn that down. So for anyone who's unaware, this is a patch from my Europa Relay refill, which there's another video on YouTube which is called... The anatomy of a patch. It goes into one of the patches from Europa Relay. It might actually be this one, funnily enough, and sort of explains how it was put together. But to kind of recap it very, very quickly, it's essentially sort of made up of 3 distinct layers using 1 engine per layer. So this is kind of a sort of nice, very kind of wavetable-y sort of sound that sort of forms, well, there's most of the top. This is kind of a nice sizzle that just kind of sits on the top, and this is kind of the body of the patch just to kind of round things out. So you combine all of those and you end up with that nice patch. So Clubmutt says, fun fact, the AMB in AMB Windwave is short for Adam Fielding. He's not wrong. That's exactly what it stands for. I can't even sort of question that. It is totally legit. It is absolutely. That's what the AMB stands for. So you may have noticed I'm adding some more reverb. One thing I'm generally careful to do with any patches I put together is I like them to sound good without any effects on. So actually I'm going to bypass this and just kind of turn off the effects just to sort of... So this is without any effects whatsoever. There's plenty of motion going on in the patch. So it's got quite a bit of life already. You turn the effects on, just kind of adds a nice sort of sheen to it. And then you completely ruin it by just drowning it in DR1, and it's great. So given that this pad, it's an ambient patch, it's not so much a pad, it's kind of more of an atmospheric drone. There's lots of very slowly modulating elements in this particular patch, as you can see via the mod matrix here. But I'm probably just going to stick with 1 steady note for all of this. So I was actually thinking, I think G2 might be the one I go for, but I'll just play in a second just to make sure. So it's quite a lot of sort of harmonic overtones and sort of shifting elements in there, and I don't want to sort of confuse the mix too much. So I might just call this Atmosphere and... I think that works. I might come back to it, maybe add an extra note just to kind of change things up a bit, but I like how that's sounding at the moment. So to kind of go with that as well, I think I might add a pad in a sort of similar sort of vein. So I'm just gonna pick one and just add a player to it and see if anything pops out that I like. So it's back to old faithful E Dorian, and yeah, I'm just gonna cheat a bit and just copy that over. Right. Oh my god. Right. Sorry about that, folks. Apparently that's just a very badly volume matched patch. That's for shame, for shame. Or it might just need to come up an octave. That could also be the problem. I think it's just not the right patch here, so I'm just gonna have a look and see if there's anything else that takes my fancy. Let's try this one here. In fact, I might bring that back down an octave, just to see how that goes. Tony Byrne, can I use channel points to redeem some new ears? Yeah. You need to save up your points for new ears. I'm sorry about that, folks. But that is why I keep a limiter on the output, I guess. So I'm just going to call that pad, and I'm going to... In fact, I might use some open chords and have 4 notes there as well. Actually, let's keep it 3 notes. So I was thinking it'd be kind of nice to... Well, actually, someone mentioned using the Subtractor as a LFO source, so I'm just going to do that now. So I'm creating an instance of a Subtractor here. I haven't connected it to anything. There's no sequencer lane. I held down Shift when I created it, so it's just standalone. So I'm just going to turn the LFO1 rate right down and just use that as a CV source. And I'm going to create an instance of the CV merger and splitter. Take LFO1, hook it up to one of the splitters, and take one of these outputs and bring that into the pan input on the atmosphere, and take the inverted signal, which is the 4th output here, which is denoted by the sort of grey patch there and the inv part, and I'm just going to bring that into the pan inputs on this particular channel. So let's just bring that in there. So I'm going to turn the pan CV in down a bit, because otherwise it'll just fly all over the place and it won't be a particularly subtle effect at all. So what we should end up with is both the pad and the sort of atmospheric patch will kind of diverge in opposite directions of the stereo field and kind of come back together as the LFO plays. So I'm just going to solo those 2 channels just so you can kind of hear what I'm talking about. Ty Blue, I can't help feeling that if this was school and Adam was our teacher, I would have been told to leave the classroom for distracting the other pupils who are here to learn and not fool around. It's a good thing I'm not a teacher, and this is not a school. Am I going to use the little knob tonight? I could do, I suppose. Depends on if I add any kind of if I add any sort of squelchy synths or anything. It's not a bad idea. The patch sounds a lot like a Rompler playing strings. It kind of does. I could totally see that. It does sound like a sort of early noughties workstation kind of dealy. So yeah, so that's kind of nice. You can kind of hear that both of those patches sort of diverging as they play sort of in opposite directions. It's kind of a neat little trick there. So I'm just going to leave those. So we've got a nice. I think we've got enough here for a block. I think I'm just gonna bring that into a block. So I'm just gonna cut all of that out and bring it into block 1. So this is going to be kind of the main building block of the track essentially. So I'm just gonna save that, and yeah, let's just draw in a block. Let's draw in a tasty block. So I'm probably just going to start the track with that kind of nice ARP sound and just have that sort of filter in. Maybe add something underneath it, like a grain or something. So let's just find the ARP and let's have that going through the low pass filter. In fact, what'd be really neat is something I haven't really done a whole lot of during these streams. And that is to just, well, I've done plenty of this during the stream, swamp something in DR1, but I'm just going to start the track with that kind of dialed in a bit and then just sort of make that sort of drop out as the tune opens up. So good old bongos. Oh man, here we go. It's my save reminder. my very quiet save reminder. It is no fun when it can't scare the bejesus out of me. So cool. Righty, so I am going to dial back some of these elements. So I'm just going to automate the beat map to control some of these elements. I'm just going to draw in nothing in the density essentially, so there shouldn't be any percussion playing here. In fact, I might go for the opposite approach here and just have the high pass filter engaged for this bit. So I might not play the whole block here. I might just kind of play the same set of chords a couple of times. Maybe draw out that sort of reverb trick. And I think it'd be nice to bring in... Why is the factory sound bank censored? I have no idea. That's really weird. How strange. Anyway, I am going to bring an instance of grain. I think it'd be nice to have something granular going on underneath all this stuff. So I'm going to dip into one of my favorite places in the factory sound bank, which is the other samples folder, which I always find the fact that it's called other samples kind of mysterious. I'm just going to dip into the chords, phrases, stabs section. Oh, what have I done? Right, and just pick something I like the sound of. So I'm going to go with... Let's go with something that's totally not going to fit the rest of the track. So I'm just gonna dial this in, turn the speed down, turn the jitter up, set it to a forward-backward loop, and just generally mess about with this. So I fully expect this not to fit at all with anything that's going on, but that's half the fun, really. Yeah, what's the deal with FSB being censored? I genuinely didn't see what was going on there. I'm really curious now. So anyway, I'm just going to dip into here and pick something with a less obvious chord. Or that could be kind of cool. Say a less obvious chord and pick something that's very obviously a chord. Maybe if I just... Let's try one. One of these is going to fit. Oh great, is that... Oh right, it's that's tuned very, very strangely. Yeah, I'm not sold on that idea. Well, given that we're already using a bass patch called Vega, it'd be nice to experiment with this particular sample. Well, that is interesting. Might roll the lows off a little less. Just call that intro grain. Still not entirely convinced about that. Good old belch. So I think I'm just going to mess around with this. I like the feel of it, but I don't think it kind of sits at the start yet. I think because we've got two elements occupying the highs at the same time, so I might go back to my original idea of using the low pass filter on the ARP and not the high pass filter. So there's lots of interesting sounds popping up in the chat. So I think that would be a good place to maybe bring in some extra elements. In fact, let's have that fade in a little more slowly, I think. Yeah, I'm not entirely sold on that DR1 at the start. What I might do instead is automate the tape echo so we have more of that at the start as well. Yeah, I'm not sold on that intro grain texture, so well, given that, let's just bring in this atmospheric patch. I feel like that would have made more sense in the first place. Actually, that sounds a little odd in isolation as well. I think I just need to let's let the art play on its own. Start bringing in some elements one by one. I do get the impression this is definitely not going to be a particularly lengthy track. I definitely don't want it to outstay its welcome. So I'm thinking, you know, a nice little concise, fun snippet would be nice. What I might do, instead of just having that one single note playing, is to just mirror everything else that I've got going on. I think that might work a bit better. Yeah, let's try that. Ew, no, that is not good. I'm just gonna stop messing around with this grain. I'm not big into that idea. So I feel like after that, bringing the bass in would be a nice call there. So I'm getting kind of a sort of interlude-y kind of feel from this track. I'm not sure if that makes any sense really, but it definitely feels like of a lot of the tracks I've written recently, this is just going to kind of be one of those tracks that just kind of comes in and breezes past. So I'm okay with that. I feel like I've written enough sort of lengthy tracks over the past few weeks to just kind of dial things back a little bit. So I'm actually thinking I might bring the tape echo down at the start. So, just had two really good track title ideas. So Tony Burns suggested Intermission, which I was kind of thinking of myself. Clovenbutt has said Staff Roll, which I think is an excellent suggestion, especially given the fact that it reminds me kind of sort of Streets of Rage credits music kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's a great idea. I might. Oh man, that's a really tricky. I'm leaning more towards Staff Roll at this point. I think that's a really cool name. I do feel like at some point I'm going to need to bring in some extra elements because it's definitely not really enough to carry this entire track at the moment. I also want to bring in some little sort of effects here and there. But okay, I think my problem, I just think there was a bit too much reverb going on, which I never thought I'd say that, but I actually prefer it with a bit less there. Oh no, what's happened to me? Can we maybe suggest one of those 4 subtractors we took on credit for extra elements? That's not a terrible idea. Yeah, I don't like where this is going, you know, less reverb. So I'm just going to save that. Yep, I am Evil Adam from the worst timeline. I mean, we currently occupy the worst timeline, so I mean, I'm almost certain that I am the most evil version of myself. So that's fine. We need a DR1 concept piece, one note, but with a 5-minute reverb tail. Yeah, just string several DR1s together. I love it. I love it. Let's bring in that sort of atmospheric thing over this section as well. Not sold on that extra percussion there. So I'm just going to go back to the beginning and kind of see how this goes. But yeah, Evil Adam never saturates his kick drums. There's a smidge of saturation going on there with the dirt. I regret reminding everyone of all of the extra sound effects. It's a very happy piece. It is. I think it's weirding me out slightly, you know, after the past few weeks of kind of more sort of melancholy stuff. You know, it's nice to have something to slightly counterbalance that. Baskerville says I need to save, but I have already saved. I've just realised this is the problem. Like, you can't actually see the title bar. So you just have to take my word for the fact that I'm actually saving. So there we go. Control S. Everything's saved. It's fine. I'm just gonna get rid of that. That's not helping anyone. I can go away. I think what might be interesting would be to add something to the ARP. So I'm thinking of adding an instance of use Ubic G as an aux send. So I'm just going to crank up the grain size, transpose it up an octave, have a little iteration there. Let's try and pop in the ARP through that. There we go. I think that kind of works to add a little bit of variation throughout this section. So let's just draw in a bit of that. Yeah, so I kind of glossed over that. I apologise. Right, so this is the Ubic G, which you can get as a VST. I believe they stopped selling the rack extension version quite a while ago. But anyway, it's a really, really nifty rack extension. It was kind of one of the earlier ones that came out. I'm just going to call this grain shifter, actually. And it's really good for kind of very just nifty granular effects. So what I've done here is it's just kind of it's like a nice sort of granular pitch shifter kind of thing. So I've increased the grain size so it sounds more obviously granular. If you turn it down, you can get more kind of it's just different. It's sort of like reducing the loop time of a particular sample, that kind of effect. So I've turned that up so you kind of get more of a sort of pronounced granular sound. I've also increased the iteration, which is essentially kind of like a feedback sort of thing. So it's kind of looping, it's sort of feeding more of the signal back into itself. So it's transposing everything up an octave and then feeding it back into itself. And that's kind of, you're getting those sort of octave grains playing over the top. So if I just solo that ARP with that playing over the top, you'll be able to hear it more obviously. So if I turn the iteration up, it just kind of goes way up. It's actually kind of cool. I might leave that. In fact, I might dial that in a bit more during this section. I think it's kind of neat. So just bring that in, bring that down. I'm not liking all of the theories that I'm evil Adam. Does that mean good Adam is clean shaven? I've made that mistake a few times before of going clean shaven. It makes me look like I'm about 12. I'm not big into the look. Just in case anyone was asking for fashion tips. Basketball said, am I right in thinking that the UHI devices aren't in the shop anymore? Yeah, sadly not. They are, yeah, they were removed from sale a few years ago, back when the old Propellerhead user forum was a thing, for various reasons. And to be honest, I can't really say I blame them, given it wasn't a particularly pleasant situation. But yeah, you can still get the VST versions, and I mean, for all intents and purposes, they work in the exact same way. So yeah, I have Ubic A and G, which are both excellent. I don't tend to use Ubic A as much nowadays, but I used to use it on pretty much everything back when I first got it. But yeah, they're both really nice effects, and Ubic G is kind of it's an interesting kind of creative granular effect, and it's not too complicated, but you can get some interesting sounds out of it. And I have a soft spot for devices like that. May have overdone the iteration there. So I'm going to get rid of that electronic loop there, because that's not doing it for me at all. So I'm just going to go into the loop supply folder, and maybe we can find something else. Join me in this wonderful journey as we dip into the loop supply folder. So let's. I'm not gonna lie. I'm tempted. Right. So. That's the loop I didn't know I needed. So there we go. I am very much embracing the cheese with this track, by the way. I'm enjoying the cheese. I think now might be a good time to bring in that open hat that I've been saving for a rainy day, and then I might have to actually add some elements. Man. Yeah, so I'm going to sort of slow the introduction of that atmospheric thing. So I'm just going to play this and have a ponder. Tony Burners asked, how do you make Dorian sound happy? That's a very good question. I wasn't expecting to write such a sort of upbeat tune today. It's not very October-y, but I'm okay with that. I'm going to dial in more reverb during this section, just because I can. So again, those extra kind of granular elements popping in. Just had an idea of something I could add, and it's not something I've really used a whole lot during these streams, if at all, really, and that is Humana. I feel like that would be kind of neat. So yeah, and that might even just the init patch. I feel like that's kind of what I'm after. So I mean, the init patch with a whole bunch of reverb popped on top. Basketball says, I think you should tighten up the kick on the intro, then let it loose. Do you mean reduce the length? Because that's a pretty darn solid idea.
Let's do it.
Let's do that. Vocoder, yes. I'll come back to that as well. All of these ideas. Right. Where does the kick come in? Here it is. Right. So there we go. That's nice. I like that. Top suggestion, Buskin' Bills. Thank you very much. I always like it when I can vary things up a bit without actually committing to writing new elements. So I'm actually going to use this old beat map trick of just adjusting the XY position for some extra fills. Not like that. There we go, that's nice. You can swap those around here. Let's play around with this until that works. So I might just turn the kick density down a bit there so it's not. It's just not really working so well there. Let's just try a different approach here. I'm just going to plug in random values until something worthwhile works. There we go. So Electronic DJ has just asked, what's the beat map trick? I've just realized today is kind of, I feel like today's stream is a nice chance for me to go over some stuff that I've done sort of in previous streams that I haven't really touched upon for a while. So basically, I'm using beat map for all of the drums. So I actually haven't sequenced any drums except for the open hats, which come in later, which is the most simple pattern imaginable. So instead of programming fills manually, what I've done is I've automated the X and Y values on the beat map. So if I want a bit of variation in the pattern, like for a fill, for instance, I can just automate those values to something wildly different. So for instance, in this section, it will just be playing the same drum beat that's been playing throughout the entire track. And then sort of in this last bar here, it will just completely change to something else, which sounds like a fill. So if I just play that, you'll be able to hear what I'm talking about. So it's just a little variation there. Believe it or not, it's National Cheese Curd Day. So I have I have something semi-related to that factoid. Apparently last week was Curry Festival or Curry Week or something. So I've spent most of the past week eating nothing but curry, and I don't recommend that. It's not good. It's not good when you're in a enclosed room on your own for most of the day. Just putting that out there. Just don't do it. Electronic DJ says, "Oh, nice, thanks." I'm assuming that's in relation to the beat map automation trick and not me talking about eating loads of curry. I'm a classy guy. That's a good idea. So Buskin Bills has just redeemed the nasal riser, and I think it's time. So, if we're doing a stream where I'm covering things I've done before, I feel like it's only right to bring in the nasal riser. So this very advanced trick. So here we go. I'm just gonna record this highly advanced approach to creating risers in music. Oh, that was a forceful snort. That's not a good phrase. So let's remove most of that, and I'm just going to stretch that, and that'll do nicely. So I'm going to process that with a whole load of reverb because it's the only way to do a nasal riser. And go to the SSL mixer and just massively roll off the lows and turn it down because that is going to be loud. So let's play it. There's a lot of nasal saturation there. I'm not sure if this is going to be. This might be a rare instance where I've done a bad nasal riser. No, that's fine. That's fine. No such thing as a bad nasal riser. Lovely. Buskervilles points out it's getting cold season. I won't be able to soon. You're right. I need to get all my nasal risers in now for the cold season. Otherwise, it'll just be a horrendous series of just awkward, bunged up nasal risers. Oh yeah, I was going to introduce a human. Oh man, my mind is not staying focused on anything during this session. This is excellent. So I'm going to add a bit of echo to this human because I feel like regardless of how it turns out, it's going to need a bit of delay. Just because. So I was actually thinking of adding. I'm just gonna play. I'm just gonna press record and play something and see what pops out. So I'm thinking if I start, yeah. That's good. Right. So I got the right idea there, but that's not really working for me. Also, it needs more reverb. Always more reverb. So, wow. Okay. So I like the second half of that, so I'm just going to pretend the first half didn't happen, and I'm just going to quantize all of that, and just do a cheeky copy-paste. There we go. The perfect crime. There's some excellent comments in all of this. Hang on. When your playing is so sloppy that hard quantizing everything just doesn't work. Incredible. You still didn't get the little knob out yet. You're right, I didn't. You got to be on Patreon for that. I haven't been plugging my Patreon nearly enough during this stream. I feel like I did a much better job during my last stream. Suddenly very quiet. It's given me more of a Heroes of Might and Magic vibe now, I'm not gonna lie. Oh my god, sorry, I've only just noticed Dravitt's comment. When Adam does a Q&A session, it should be called Adam Fielding Questions. That has tickled me way more than it should have. Oh, I'm not even kidding. I think I need to make that a thing. Adam Fielding Questions. I'm writing that down. Watch me forget about that for next time, but that's incredible. Use the little knob to make some. No, I'm not. No. I say a lot of things. Time to do something. Like I want to do something with that subtractor that I've just added. So I feel like if I can just add some kind of extra element here. Night Creature suggested maybe an alligator on the Humana or a pump. I'm not entirely convinced that would work. It's not a. Yeah, I'm not convinced. I might try pump. That might be. It's always worth trying these things out. So. Let's stick an instance of pump on there. It's a neat idea. I don't think it fits here, but I'm glad I tried it out. So thank you for the suggestion. What am I doing? Let's do something with this subtractor. That's not a subtractor, that's the Humana, right. Also, it took me ages to figure out that you could switch focus for your MIDI interface by clicking that little arrow next to devices. I'm just not that smart. So now I'm... right, let's do some fun, some subtractor programming. So this will be... Let's bump that up an octave, it'll be easier for me to play. with this in front of me. So let's open up the filter and let's turn on oscillator 2. Tasty. Let's detune those a little bit. So with minimal effort, I've got a sound. So let's open up the decay on the filter a bit, and let's turn the polyphony down because I'm probably going to be playing this as a lead. Let's have some fun and do some subtractor programming. You're the only person that says this. Ah. Buskers, that's the bit I keep telling you to click when player bounce to MIDI won't work. Oh, I've only just got that. Wow. Oh well, you live and learn. I feel like this is definitely the stream. This is definitely a stream where everyone is going to find out that I don't really know what I'm doing a good chunk of the time. So, just going to add nice DR1 there. And let's have some echo in there as well. Why not? Be a nice way to give it a bit of stereo width as well. So let's turn the feedback up. Let's turn the filter on. Maybe a little less DR1. I'm really tempted to throw a unison on this just because it'd be kind of funny. Let's do it. Let's have a little unison. You know what? I'm just gonna leave that. I'm just gonna play some nonsense over the top and see where it goes. Well, that wasn't so great. I might hang on to that just as a little reminder. Yeah, I think I'll do another little thing like that. I like basically I like the idea that I had going on there. Buskville says add some wobble. I may do that after. So right. I think I liked the sort of the second half of this. It's just hard quantize everything. It's the only way to do it. So yeah, let's just have that, and I might grab some of this reject section over here. Just pop that there. Yeah, let's maybe clear the way for this, so I'm not just pasting a whole load of notes on top of each other. when in doubt, just do that. I might bring that Humana back there as well. I'm really, really, really tempted for the end of this track to just completely cheese it and just have a fade on everything. Very tempted. Pitch it up 7 semitones. How about... that's going to sound awful. Let's try it. That's slightly bugging me. That doesn't work. Just noodling now, right? Basketballs, pitch up 7 semitones. I meant the MIDI. I thought you might, but I just wanted to try that out. I thought I'd get some interesting effects given the fact that I've got some frequency modulation going on between those two oscillators. So, yeah, I thought it was worth a try, and I kind of like it. You know what I'm going to do here? I feel like this would be an excellent place to fade out the track and keep it reasonably short for a change. So, I'm going to create an instance of Selig gain, put that on the master insert, and that's just going to fade the entire track out. So I'm just going to turn the fade up to about, let's have a nice 30-second fade. So I'm just going to trigger that during this final section here. And I'm also going to do something else that I tend to do when I'm using Selig gain as a fade. I'm just going to turn the fade time right down at the start. It just means that instead of having to wait for it to bring everything back up again, I can just go back to the start of the track and it will reset the amplitude back to where it should be, which is nice. Buskin Bill said, did you save? I did not, and I feel like it's about time I saved this as staff roll, because I quite like the sound of that. So the track is called Staff Roll. I like that. such a massive cheat. I might actually extend the fade time because that's supposed to be 30 seconds, but that was not 30 seconds. Actually, it kind of was. Ish. That's the word I'm looking for. So let's clear the automation there. Let's give it an extra 10 seconds. Let's have a nice. Let's give it a proper fade out. So I'm just going to set the fade time back to 0 there, and. Oh hey, it's Protostar! Hey Protostar! If you haven't checked out Protostar's Reason Studio stream from earlier this week, you absolutely should, because it was fantastic. And in a weird sort of way, I feel like I'm doing him a massive disservice by putting together this incredibly cheesy tune during my music making session today, where I've basically just completely cheesed my way into fading everything out at the end. But, you know, it's been fun. Yeah, if you want some actual good sound design tips and some really, really neat production tricks, I highly recommend checking out his stream. It was fantastic. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to play this from the start and think about adding some stuff. You may have noticed that I just drew in some automation on this Unison device because, of course, there's a Unison in the rack now. So, yeah, let's just give it a go. I'm just going to press play and we can see how it goes. Right. Also, Starfrel was an excellent name. Thank you, Clobbermutt. Let's have some more reverb on that pad on the piano pad at the start. Bring in some of that Ubik G at the end as well. That'd be kind of neat. Yes, there's definitely a couple of issues there that I need to look into. But it does what I intended it to do, which is nice. It's been pretty darn fun. So, fades pretty much finishes there. So, yeah, the transition from here to that subtractor lead is so incredibly shonky. So even for this tune, I don't think I can get away with that. So I'm thinking it might be neat to just kind of let that section run a little longer before it goes into the subtractor lead and add another little riser. So it'd be nice to maybe add some extra elements here just to sort of fill it out a little bit. So let's do that. So I'm just going to copy that block over. Also, you may have noticed I'm using block 1 for everything. That is my thing. So yeah, this entire track is basically built around a single block because, of course, it is. So I'm thinking it might be kind of neat to add some really simple vocal sort of washes over the top of everything, maybe with a vocoded pad kind of underneath that. So I'm thinking that could be kind of interesting. Then I can bring in another little riser there to kind of signal when that subtractor lead comes in, so it's less of a sort of jarring, oh, what the hell is this? So yeah, let's do that. I'm actually just going to make sure that works. Protostar mentions, interesting to see me work with blocks, don't really know how to use them. So yeah, I feel like I've really, in terms of using blocks, I've really kind of come into my element with them, particularly this year, during this year's streams. Buskin Bills has correctly pointed out that I use 3 maximum. It's always fun to see how much I can get away with just using one block. So essentially, for the majority of this track, sort of for the first hour or so of this entire session, I was just putting together this really simple block, which I'm just going to play now just because it's always fun to look back on how this mess started. So yeah, this is the block that everything is essentially built around. This is making me want to play through some Streets of Rage 2 or something, just so I can listen to some sweet credits music at the end. It is definitely giving me that kind of vibe. So yeah, so it's interesting just kind of seeing how far I could push. I feel like this particular session, I've got less out of that block than I have in the past. I think the record for that probably goes to that track that was the sort of dark techno track that was about 10 minutes long. That was built around one block. That was cool. I liked that. So, what am I doing? I was going to add some vocal washes, and I'm still going to do that. So, before I convince myself not to. So, I'm just going to create an audio track and mute myself over here. Hello. Right, excellent. I'm in Reason now. Let's give myself a bit of the RE2A as well. Just go with the vocal preset. That's always good. And have a bit of input gain. And let's try recording some daft falsetto vocals. All right, here we go. that was not great. That was particularly awful. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. What I need is more reverb to disguise the fact that this was a terrible idea. Right, let's try it. Right, now I'm going to use, oh no, I'm going to use the very highly advanced technique of just pitch correcting the ever-living shit out of that. Right, there we go. So what I need on top of that is an instance of Neptune. So I'm just going to do some very simple formant shifting in a second. And I feel like if I shift it down, I always shift it up when I'm doing sort of falsetto-y stuff. Also, I think it'd be really neat to just add some delay, but a really, really long delay, just to kind of let it sort of just totally ride and wash over the rest of the mix. So I'm going to crack the time up to half a bar, because why not? Keep the feedback reasonably low. I don't need it to be too extreme. Turn the filter on. Add a little bit of wobble, why not? And let's just see how this goes. Buskin Bills has asked, have you saved? I have not. So let's get that done. That's saved. Nice. And let's try this again. So let's remove some of these drums just for a bar, just so we know something's going to change. I think the problem is, before the Subtractor synth comes in, there isn't really any indication of a transition besides this little rise I think I've got going here. So in fact, let's just let that go for a couple of bars. I might just let those vocals play over there as well. Nah, don't really need it there. I'm not entirely sold on that daft falsetto vocal idea, but kind of like that. I'm just going to play that section just to see how it sits with everything else. I think it'd be kind of cool maybe to... Well, I'm just going to play it, see how it goes. I'm starting to realise why I don't tend to form and shift vocals down that often if I'm doing falsetto parts. That's because they disappear in the mix. So... I know. I need to do something about the channel point situation. I tried my best and I failed. Hopefully I'll have that working next time because that'd be kind of fun. Although, you know, I did bring in a Subtractor and made a cheeky little patch from scratch, which was kind of fun. I think I don't want to overthink this track. I think the last thing this track needs is me to overthink it. So I am probably just gonna sort of fade in. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Just gonna I'm going to leave that vocal wash alone. I'm just going to play it from start to finish and have a ponder about where to go with it, if anywhere at all. So, just going to save that and press play and have a think about what I've done. I feel like it'd be cool to add some sort of percussive element at the start. Just like a nice little top. Bongos. There is a distinct lack of bongos in this track. That's a cheeky little tune. Right. So there's not really a huge amount I want to change there. Just little things. I feel like it would be nice to add something to the start. You may have noticed me eyeing the bongos section in Reason's Factory sound bank section. Busker, I think you're going to have a few refund issues tonight, Adam. Oh no. Surprise fade in and reprise. Oh no. There's so many bongos to choose from. I'm not gonna add any bongos. So yeah, I think it'd be kind of nice to just have like some sort of top. So I'm gonna look in the drum loops folder, and it's got to be something I can nab in here that I can filter massively. Oh, there we go. Filter Conga. How have I never noticed this folder before? I don't think I'm going to use this, but... Oh my god. I mean, if it didn't have a filter on it, that would actually be really useful. Oh, there we go. That'll do. Not super into that, unless it's a very long-winded way of doing this. Right, there we go. Just reverse all of those slices. I might even try sticking that through Beatformer just to kind of smush it a bit. Basketball said cut all the percussion apart from the skin. Not entirely sure which drum you're referring to there. What I am gonna do though, surprise, is stick just a little bit of reverb, just a taste. There we go. I like that. You know what would have made a lot more sense is if I just put this in the block. That's kind of the whole point of blocks, is so that I don't have to mess around with the same elements endlessly. So if I just bring that over into the block, again, it'll make my life a bit easier if I just add some of these variations in the actual block itself. There we go. There's a couple of variations there, and I'm going to keep those little reversed elements outside of the block. And there we go. Oh, I'm so happy I've got some bongos in one of these stream tracks. Come on over to house music. You can have bongos every day. Every day! That sounds like the kind of thing that evil me would be into. One thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna narrow that a bit because there's for some reason it seems to be biased more to the right on my headphones, but what I'm going to do to compensate for that is I'm just going to bring over that Subtractor LFO CV so I can use that as a... Where is it? Where are you, Subtractor LFO? You know what? Oh yeah, it's with the pads. Wherever I've put those. Pad, there we go. It's in here. So I'm just going to bring that over to the bongos. Except I'm not, because I haven't opened the programmer. So let's just bring that over there. Take 3. And just turn it down a bit. So now the bongos will kind of move around a little bit. Actually, I might just... There we go. Just kind of gently moving from side to side. That's nice. Right, I think I'm pretty much done with this track. I feel like it was a fun idea, and it's kind of run its course, and I very much enjoyed just messing around with it. So I'm going to play it from start to finish, and maybe think if there's anything I want to tweak in there. But to be honest with you, I feel like it kind of comes in, does its thing, does what it sets out to do, and then goes. And I'm happy for it to fade out before it becomes too tiresome. So it was a nice idea. So yeah, I've actually really enjoyed working on this track. It's a nice change from the kind of more melancholic stuff that I've been working on sort of in the streams more recently. It's quite a far cry from the stuff I've been working on in terms of production tunes and stuff with Void Chapter recently. In fact, I'm really tempted to bounce this when I'm done and send it to the guys at Void Chapter and say I've come up with a new idea for us guys to work around. And so tempted. Right, okay, I'm just gonna play this and keep quiet, and there we go. Here we go. This is Staff Roll. Fade in those bongos. Cool. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. That's pretty much exactly what I was hoping to do. So I'm actually really chuffed with that. And I feel like it's only just over 4 minutes long, which in terms of most of the tracks I've written recently is about as long as the intro. So, it's good that I knew when to stop. So outstanding. So yeah, some interesting comments while that was playing. I am jealous of Drabbit's emojis. They look great. I am really tempted to send this to Void Chapter when I'm done with this and just say, hey, what do you think of this heavy new track I've been working on? Yes, this is an Adam Fielding punk song. It is an Adam Fielding punk song. It's virtually nothing. There's nothing there. Awesome. Cool. So, if you're watching on Twitch, I will stick around for a bit afterwards and basically answer any questions or anything you may have for me. But if you're watching this on YouTube, that is the end of the stream. So I'll be doing my usual thing tomorrow morning of listening back to this with monitors and playing around with the mix a little bit. And I'll be covering the changes that I make in a future stream. But for now, I feel like that's a wrap, and I'll leave it there. So thanks so much for joining me again, and I hope to see some of you next week. I'm planning on doing another live stream next week, but until then, take it easy. Have a good time. Bye-bye.